Commander Jinsu Park yawned as he checked the screens of his small scout ship. Another boring day patrolling the edge of the Kuiper Belt. He rubbed his tired eyes and took a sip of his coffee. The ship's computer beeped softly, showing nothing unusual in this empty part of space. Just 3 more days, he said to himself. 3 more days until he could go back to Earth and see his family again. And Shuri, his gray wolf. He smiled thinking about her. His grandfather had rescued her as a pup, and now she lived with Jinsu at his cabin when he wasn't on missions. The alarm blared suddenly, making him spill his coffee. Unknown object detected, the computer announced. Jinsu sat up straight. Nothing was supposed to be out here. He tapped the screen quickly, bringing up the sensor readings. What he saw made no sense. Computer, confirm size of the object. Object is approximately 3.2 kilometers in length. That couldn't be right. Nothing that big could have appeared without warning. He looked out the viewport and saw nothing but stars and distant Pluto. Then he saw it, a massive shadow moving across the stars, blocking them out one by one. The ship shook as something scanned it. The screens flickered, and then a face appeared on his main monitor. It was almost human, but not quite. The skin was too smooth, the eyes too large and too purple, a female face with perfect features and short black hair. "Greetings, Earth vessel," she said in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Neri of the Taiyang Collective. We wish to speak with your leaders." Jinsu stared, his mouth open. First contact. After all these years of wondering, humans were not alone. I am Commander Jinsu Park of the Earth Space Force," he managed to say. "How did you find us?" Neri smiled, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. "We have been watching your world for some time. Your nuclear tests first caught our attention. Then your early space travel. We find your planet fascinating." Her massive ship moved closer. Now Jinsu could see it clearly. It wasn't made of metal like human ships. It seemed to be alive somehow, with a blue light pulsing through what looked like veins on its surface. "Our ship is biological," Neri explained, noticing his stare. "Grown, not built. One of many advances we can share with humanity." Jinsu sent an emergency message to Earth while trying to keep Neri talking. He learned that the Taiyang Collective was a spacefaring civilization from a star system 40 light-years away. They had mastered biological engineering to a degree humans could barely imagine. "We propose an alliance," Neri said. "We need to study Earth's unique ecosystem. Your planet has developed predator-prey relationships that are unusual. In exchange, we will share our biotechnology." Something in the way she said predator-prey relationships made Jinsu uneasy. "What exactly interests you about Earth's animals?" he asked. "Your world has evolved rather than been designed," she said. "It's inefficient but produces unexpected results, particularly your predators. They solve problems in ways we find primitive but intriguing." 6 hours later, Jinsu's ship docked with a much larger Earth vessel that had rushed to his position. Generals and scientists poured in, eager to meet the aliens. Jinsu watched as Neri charmed Earth's leaders with promises of medical advances, biological computers, and living ships. Everyone seemed excited, but he couldn't shake his worry. Later, as he stood beside the Earth's Secretary General, he leaned in and whispered, "Sir, we should be careful. They're too interested in our predatory species." The secretary patted his shoulder. "Don't worry, Commander. This is the greatest day in human history. Think of what we can learn from them." Jinsu nodded but didn't feel better. As he watched Neri's perfect smile, he remembered something his grandfather once told him while they were hunting. "The most dangerous predator is the one you don't recognize as a predator." He hoped humanity wasn't making a terrible mistake. 6 months passed quickly. Jinsu stood in front of the large window on the Taiyang mothership, looking at Earth below. The blue planet seemed small from here. He missed his home, his cabin in the woods, and especially Shuri. The wolf had been his companion for 5 years now. Admiring the view, Commander Park. Jinsu turned to see Ambassador Neri walking toward him. She wore a simple white uniform that seemed to glow slightly, like everything the Taiyang made. "Just thinking about home," he said. "You'll be returning soon enough," Neri said. "But first, I want to show you something special. Follow me." Jinsu followed her through the corridors of the massive ship. Unlike human ships with their metal walls and floors, everything here felt alive. The walls pulsed gently with blue light. The floor adjusted to their steps, making walking easier. Even the air felt different, cleaner and fresher than anything on Earth. They entered a large room with a high ceiling. Inside was a creature Jinsu had never seen before. It was huge, at least 20 meters long, with a streamlined body covered in what looked like scales, but weren't quite scales. Its head was narrow with no eyes that Jinsu could see. "What is that?" he asked. "This is a Leviathan," Neri said proudly. "My latest creation. Designed for deep space exploration. It can travel through the vacuum without a ship. Its body produces oxygen. It can survive extreme temperatures. And it's intelligent enough to follow complex commands." The creature moved slightly, sensing them. Jinsu felt a chill run down his spine. "You made this?" he asked. "Of course. The Taiyang don't build technology. We grow it. This is just one type of Leviathan. We have others for mining, terraforming, and—" She paused. "Defense." A door opened on the other side of the room. A group of humans entered, led by Dr. Kim, Earth's lead scientist for the exchange program. With them were several cages containing animals. "Ah, the new specimens have arrived," Neri said. Jinsu walked closer. The cages contained various Earth animals. Birds, insects, a small deer, and— Jinsu's heart jumped. A cage with 3 gray wolves. "Shuri," he whispered, moving closer to the wolf cage. One of the wolves looked up, ears perking. It wasn't Shuri, but it reminded him of her. The wolf's yellow eyes met his, curious and alert. "These are untouched specimens," Neri asked Dr. Kim, who nodded. "No genetic modifications at all," Dr. Kim confirmed. "Pure Earth predators and prey as requested." Neri approached the wolf cage. Fascinating creatures. So inefficient. Their hunting success rate is quite low compared to our designed predators. "But they survived for millions of years," Jinsu said. "That must count for something." Neri smiled politely. "A testament to how forgiving your planet is, perhaps. Our Leviathans are perfect biological machines. Every system optimized for maximum efficiency." Later that day, Jinsu requested permission to oversee the wolf habitat. To his surprise, it was granted. In the large room where the wolves were kept, he sat watching them explore their new environment. The largest wolf, a male with dark gray fur, approached the glass where Jinsu sat. "You remind me of Shuri," Jinsu said softly. "I'm going to call you Haru." The wolf tilted its head, as if understanding. A soft voice spoke behind him. "You have an unusual attachment to these primitive creatures." Jinsu turned to see Nari watching him. "They're not primitive," he said. "They're survivors. They've evolved over millions of years to be exactly what they need to be. And yet," Neri said, "my Leviathans can do everything they do, but better, more efficiently, more perfectly." Jinsu looked back at Haru, who was now lying down, watching them both. "Perhaps," he said, "but there's something about natural evolution that can't be designed. Something you only get through struggle and survival." Neri laughed softly. "We shall see, Commander. We shall see." As Jinsu left the habitat, he didn't notice Neri looking back at the wolves with unusual interest. The large meeting room was filled with scientists from both Earth and the Taiyang Collective. Jinsu stood near the back wall, watching Dr. Hyun, the lead Taiyang scientist, point at images on the large screen. "As you can see," Dr. Hyun said, "your Earth predators waste too much energy. They fail in most hunting attempts. They sleep too much. They are inefficient. Dr. Minji Lee, an Earth scientist, raised her hand. But that's part of natural balance. Predators aren't meant to catch every prey. The ecosystem needs that balance. Dr. Hyun's perfect face showed a small frown. Balance through failure is not logical. Our Leviathans achieve perfect balance through perfect design. Jinsu had been to 5 of these meetings now. They always ended the same way. The Taeyang scientists looked down on Earth's natural evolution, calling it primitive and wasteful. The Earth scientists tried to explain that nature had its own wisdom. After the meeting, Jinsu walked down to the wolf habitat. Over the past week, he had spent hours there. Haru, the large gray wolf, now came to the glass when Jinsu arrived. The other 2 wolves, a female named Duri and a younger male called Tammy, were more cautious. "Hello there, big guy," Jinsu said, putting his hand on the glass. Haru sniffed at it from the other side. "Still visiting the animals, Commander?" Jinsu turned to see Nari standing behind him. She always moved so quietly. "Just checking on them," he said. "They seem to be adjusting well." Nari stepped closer to the glass. "We've been studying their hunting patterns. Very strange. They will wait for hours, watching. So much wasted time." "It's not wasted," Jinsu said. "It's patience. They're learning about their prey, finding the perfect moment." Nari tilted her head. "We've run tests comparing them to our smallest Leviathan hunters. The Leviathans catch prey with 98% success. Your wolves, maybe 15%. But wolves survived for millions of years with that 15%, Jinsu argued. They adapt when conditions change. Can your Leviathans do that? Our creations don't need to adapt, Dr. Hyun said, joining them. They are already perfect. Later that day, Jinsu met with Dr. Lee in the Earth section of the station. The small area had been designed to feel like home, with plants and normal lighting. They just don't get it, Dr. Lee said, sipping her coffee. Evolution isn't about being perfect. It's about being good enough to survive changing conditions. Jinsu nodded. I'm worried about what they really want from our animals. All these tests seem strange. I know, Dr. Lee agreed. I think they're trying to understand something their own designs are missing. But they won't admit it. An alarm interrupted their conversation. Not a loud emergency alarm, but a soft beep from Dr. Lee's tablet. What's that? Jinsu asked. Dr. Lee checked her screen. That's odd. One of our monitoring programs detected changes in the station's biological systems. Small mutations in some of the living wall tissues. Is that normal? I don't know. The Taeyang don't share much about how their living ships work. She tapped some more. But these changes started near the Earth specimen area about 3 days ago. Jinsu frowned. That can't be good. The door opened suddenly, and Ambassador Neri walked in with Dr. Hyun and 2 other Taeyang scientists. Their faces looked serious. Commander Park, Dr. Lee, Neri said formally. We need to speak with you about a serious matter. Dr. Hyun stepped forward. Our ship is experiencing unexpected biological changes. We have traced these changes to microorganisms from your Earth specimens. What kind of changes? Dr. Lee asked. Mutations. Adaptations, Dr. Hyun said, almost spitting the words. Your primitive Earth bacteria are attempting to consume our perfect biological systems. Neri's voice was calmer but still serious. We believe one of your wolves is carrying a bacteria our systems have never encountered. It's causing problems. What kind of problems? Jinsu asked. Before anyone could answer, the lights flickered. Then a low, deep sound rumbled through the walls of the station. Neri's eyes widened slightly. That, she said, is one of the problems. The deep rumbling sound grew louder. The walls of the station, normally smooth and glowing with soft blue light, now showed dark patches like bruises. What's happening? Jinsu asked as they rushed down the corridor. Something is wrong with Containment Area 6, Neri said, her perfect face showing real worry for the first time. That's where we keep our defense Leviathans. Dr. Hyun was talking rapidly into a small device on his wrist. His words were in the Taiyan language, but his tone was clearly panicked. Suddenly, all the lights turned red. A voice spoke in both English and the Taiyan language. Emergency protocols activated. Containment breach in Sector 6. All personnel proceed to safety zones. Jinsu grabbed Neri's arm. What defense Leviathans? You've never mentioned those before. Neri pulled away. There are things we don't share with partner species until proper trust is established. Like weapons? Dr. Lee asked sharply. Tools for protection, Dr. Hyun corrected. And now one has been affected by your Earth contamination. They reached a large control room where several Taeyang technicians worked frantically at living consoles. The screens showed different parts of the station. On one screen, Jinsu saw something large moving through a damaged section. Is that? He started. Yes, Neri said. A Class 3 combat Leviathan, designed to protect our worlds from threats. Very strong, very fast, and very, very dangerous. The creature on the screen was massive, maybe 7 meters long. It looked something like a cross between a crocodile and a tiger, but with strange additions, long tendrils that sparked with electricity, armored plates, and multiple eyes that glowed red. Why would you bring something like that on a scientific mission? Dr. Lee demanded. Neri ignored the question. The Earth bacteria has affected its control systems. It's not responding to commands. A loud crash shook the room. On another screen, they saw the Leviathan smash through a wall. It paused, sniffing the air with a forked tongue, then moved with frightening speed down a corridor. It's heading for the central hub, one technician said. Seal all emergency bulkheads, Neri ordered. Contain it in Section 8. Loud metal sounds echoed through the station as heavy doors closed. The Leviathan roared, a sound that was not like any animal from Earth. All personnel evacuate to emergency pods, the announcement system said. What about the Earth specimens? Jinsu asked suddenly. The wolves? They're in Section 8. Neri looked at him coldly. We cannot risk the Leviathan escaping. Section 8 will be sealed. Before Jinsu could argue, an even louder crash shook the station. The screens went blank, then came back showing static. It's damaged the main power relays, a technician said. Emergency systems activating. The lights dimmed, then came back at half strength. The air felt suddenly warmer. Life support is switching to backup, Dr. Hyun said. We need to evacuate now. I'm going to get the wolves, Jinsu said firmly. That's suicide, Neri said. The Leviathan is. Another explosion cut her off. This one was much closer. The floor shook violently, throwing everyone off their feet. A large crack appeared in the ceiling, and parts of the living wall began to bleed a blue fluid. When Jinsu got up, he realized with horror that the room was now split in two. He, Neri, Dr. Lee, and Dr. Hyun were on one side. The technicians and the exit were on the other side, blocked by fallen debris. Communication systems failing, the announcement voice said, now sounding distorted. Oxygen levels decreasing in sections 5 through 9. Dr. Hyun tried his wrist device again. No response from command. We're cut off. A terrible screeching sound came from somewhere close by. The Leviathan was near. Now what? Dr. Lee asked, looking at Neri. For once, the perfect ambassador seemed at a loss. I don't know. This wasn't supposed to happen. Jinsu looked at the emergency map on the wall. We're close to the Earth specimen area. If we can reach it, maybe we can. A roar interrupted him. Much closer this time. Run, Neri whispered. Run now. They ran through dimly lit corridors, the walls around them pulsing with an unhealthy red glow instead of the usual blue. The station seemed to be sick. In some places, the living walls were covered in blisters or oozed blue fluid. Left here, Jinsu said, leading the group. He had studied the station maps carefully during his time here. The Earth specimen area is just ahead. Behind them, they could hear the Leviathan moving. Heavy footsteps, scratching sounds, an occasional roar that made the walls vibrate. It's tracking us, Neri said, her breath coming fast. It can sense our body heat and smell. They reached a heavy door marked with Earth's symbol. Jinsu pressed his hand to the scanner. Nothing happened. Power's too low, Dr. Lee said. She pulled a small tool from her pocket and began working on the door panel. Hurry, Dr. Hyun whispered, looking back the way they had come. It's getting closer. The door suddenly slid open halfway, then stopped. That's the best I can do, Dr. Lee said. They squeezed through the gap and into the Earth specimen area. Unlike the rest of the station, this room was built with metal and glass, not living tissue. The emergency lights gave everything an eerie red glow. Jinsu moved quickly to the wolf enclosure. All 3 wolves were alert, sensing the danger. Haru stood at the front, ears forward, yellow eyes bright. How can these primitive creatures help us? Dr. Hyun asked, his voice full of disbelief. That Leviathan is designed for combat. It has armor that can withstand space, sensors that can detect a single cell, strength that can tear through metal. It's also designed to be perfect, Jinsu said as he worked on opening the wolf enclosure. But perfect for what? For fighting other advanced weapons, for following commands. Has it ever had to actually hunt something? Neri watched him with curious eyes. What are you thinking, Commander? I'm thinking that your perfect Leviathan has never faced a real predator before. The wolf enclosure door clicked open. One that evolved naturally. One that knows how to adapt. Dr. Lee found emergency supplies in a cabinet. I have some tools here. Maybe we can make weapons. The Leviathan's skin is too tough for simple weapons, Neri said. It was designed to withstand much worse. Jinsu crouched near the wolf enclosure. Haru, come here, he called softly. The large wolf approached cautiously. Good boy, Jinsu said, letting the wolf sniff his hand. You can't be serious, Dr. Hyun said. You're going to fight my perfect creation with a dog. Wolf, Jinsu corrected. And no, we're not going to fight it. We're going to hunt it. A loud crash from outside the room made everyone jump. The door they had come through bent inward from a heavy impact. It's here, Dr. Lee whispered. Neri looked at the wolves, then at Jinsu. What's your plan? Wolves don't hunt with strength, Jinsu explained quickly. They hunt with patience and strategy. They work together. They use the environment. He grabbed some of the tools Dr. Lee had found. We need to think like predators, not like prey. Another crash. The door bent further. The Leviathan has one major weakness, Neri said suddenly. It was designed to never fail. It doesn't know how to handle failure. Jinsu nodded. That's what we'll use against it. Haru, he called, and the wolf came to his side. The other 2 wolves, Duri and Tammy, stayed back but watched alertly. Can you really control them? Dr. Lee asked nervously. No, Jinsu admitted, but I can work with them. And right now, we all want the same thing, to survive. The door crashed open, revealing the Leviathan. It was even more terrifying up close. Its red eyes scanned the room. Its mouth opened, showing rows of teeth that seemed to glow. Stay very still, Neri whispered. But Haru had other ideas. The wolf growled low, then darted to the side of the room. The Leviathan's head swiveled to follow. Now what? Dr. Hyun asked. Jinsu gripped a metal rod tightly. Now we see if perfect design can be 4 billion years of evolution. The Leviathan stepped fully into the room, its massive body barely fitting through the doorway. It moved with a strange grace for something so large, its red eyes fixed on Haru, who stood at the far end of the room, fur raised and teeth showing. Don't move, Jinsu whispered to the others. Let Haru draw its attention. The wolf and the Leviathan stared at each other, two predators sizing each other up. The Leviathan was 5 times bigger, with armor and deadly weapons. But Haru showed no fear. What now? Dr. Lee asked softly. We need to get out of this room, Jinsu said. There's another exit on the far side. When I give the signal, move slowly toward it. Haru suddenly barked loudly and darted to one side. The Leviathan lunged forward with shocking speed, but Haru was faster, ducking under a table. The table smashed under the Leviathan's weight as it crashed into it. Now, Jinsu yelled. They ran for the far door as the Leviathan turned to follow Haru, who was weaving between equipment and cages. The other 2 wolves, Duri and Tammy, began moving too, creating more confusion. It can't focus on all targets at once, Nari said as they reached the door. Its tracking system is designed for single threats. They slipped through the door into a narrow service corridor. Through a small window, they could see the Leviathan still chasing Haru around the room. Your wolf will die, Dr. Hyun said flatly. No, he won't, Jinsu replied. Look. Inside the room, Haru suddenly changed direction and ran straight for the door they had just come through. Just as the Leviathan lunged, Haru slipped through the small gap at the bottom of the damaged main door. The Leviathan crashed into the wall, unable to follow. A moment later, Haru appeared at the other end of their service corridor, panting but unhurt. Good boy, Jinsu said, kneeling to pat the wolf. A tremendous crash shook the walls. The Leviathan was trying to break through to reach them. This corridor connects to the main lab, Dr. Lee said, looking at an emergency map on the wall. We might find something useful there. They moved quickly, with Haru leading the way. The wolf seemed to understand they were working together now. The other wolves had disappeared into the station's damaged areas. I don't understand, Dr. Hyun said as they walked. The Leviathan should have caught your wolf easily. Its reaction time is 3 times faster than any Earth predator. But it doesn't know how to hunt, Jinsu explained. It was designed to follow orders and attack targets. Haru knows how to survive, how to use the environment, how to think in the moment. Another crash echoed through the corridor. The Leviathan was following them by breaking through walls. It's learning, Neri said with surprise. It's taking the shortest path to us, not following the corridors. They reached the main lab and quickly locked the heavy doors behind them. The lab was large, filled with equipment for studying Earth specimens. We need a plan, Dr. Lee said. We can't just keep running. Jinsu looked around the lab, thinking quickly. Neri, what are the Leviathan's weaknesses? Everything has a weakness. Neri hesitated, then sighed. Its sensory systems are highly sensitive. That's normally an advantage, but strong stimuli could overwhelm it. Like what? Extreme heat or cold. Very loud sounds. Strong smells. Dr. Lee moved to a storage cabinet. We have chemicals here that produce strong odors when mixed. And I can modify this equipment to create a high-pitched sound, Dr. Hyun offered, surprising everyone. Jinsu smiled. Good. We'll set a trap. He knelt beside Haru. And we'll need a good hunter to lead it in. Another crash, closer this time. The Leviathan was getting nearer. It will expect a trap, Nari warned. It's designed to analyze threats. But it's never hunted something that hunts back, Jinsu said. That's the difference. Perfect design versus adaptation. Haru's ears perked up at a sound they couldn't hear yet. The wolf turned toward the far wall, growling softly. It's coming, Jinsu said. Let's get ready. As they quickly prepared their trap, Jinsu noticed Nari watching Haru with new interest. I'm beginning to understand, she said quietly. Perfect isn't always best, is it? A massive crash against the lab door gave them their answer. The hunt was about to begin. The lab door shook again as the Leviathan slammed into it. Metal bent inward. It would break through soon. Almost ready, Dr. Lee said, mixing chemicals in a large container. The smell was already strong, making their eyes water. Dr. Hyun worked quickly on a device made from lab equipment. This will create a sound at the exact frequency to disturb its sensory organs, he explained. Jinsu looked at Haru, who watched the door with alert eyes. Good boy, he whispered. We're counting on you. The door burst open with a terrible crash. The Leviathan stood there, red eyes glowing in the dim emergency lights. It looked even angrier now, with blue fluid leaking from a cut on its side where it had crashed through walls. Now, Jinsu yelled. Dr. Lee threw the chemical mixture. It splashed across the Leviathan's face. At the same time, Dr. Hyun activated his device. A high-pitched sound filled the room, so loud it hurt their ears. The Leviathan roared in pain and confusion. It shook its massive head, trying to clear its senses. Run, Jinsu called. To the next room. They rushed through a side door as the Leviathan thrashed around the lab, knocking over tables and equipment. Haru stayed behind for a moment, barking loudly to make sure the creature followed them, then sprinted after the group. They entered another large room filled with more earth samples, plants, insects, and small animals in containers. As they ran between the shelves, a strange sound made them stop. What was that? Dr. Lee asked. A growl came from ahead of them, then another from their right. Duri and Tammy, Jinsu said with surprise. The other two wolves had found their way here. Nari looked at the three wolves with wide eyes. They're working together, she said. They found each other and formed a pack. A crash from behind told them the Leviathan had recovered and was following. But now it faced not one wolf, but three. This changes everything, Jinsu said. Wolves are strongest as a pack. The lab had multiple levels with platforms and walkways. Jinsu quickly explained his new plan. Each person would take a different position. The wolves would lead the Leviathan to the center of the room. Will they understand? Nari asked doubtfully. They don't need to understand everything, Jinsu said. They know how to hunt together. That's instinct from thousands of generations. They split up, each taking a position on different platforms. The three wolves spread out around the room, moving with purpose. Jinsu realized they had been working together even before they met up with the humans. They had been exploring the station, learning its layout. The Leviathan burst into the room, its red eyes scanning for targets. Duri, the female wolf, barked sharply from one side. When the Leviathan turned toward her, Tammy growled from another direction. The Leviathan spun around, confused by multiple threats. It can't decide which target to focus on, Nari whispered from her platform. Its programming is breaking down. The wolves continued their coordinated attacks, darting in and out of cover, never giving the Leviathan a clear target. They weren't trying to hurt it. They couldn't with its armored skin. They were confusing it, frustrating it. Meanwhile, Dr. Lee prepared another chemical mixture. Dr. Hyun adjusted his sound device to a new frequency. Jinsu positioned himself above the Leviathan with a large container of freezing solution used for preserving specimens. They're driving it to the center, Dr. Lee said with awe in her voice, just like a real wolf pack drives prey. The Leviathan roared in frustration. It was designed to be the perfect hunter, but now it was being hunted. It had never experienced this before. Its movements became less coordinated, more desperate. Now, Jinsu shouted when the Leviathan reached the center of the room. All four humans attacked at once. Chemicals splashed from two sides. The sound device blasted at maximum power. Jinsu poured the freezing solution directly onto the Leviathan's head. The creature screamed, a sound like nothing from Earth. Its perfect systems, overwhelmed by the coordinated attack, began to shut down. It's working, Nari said in disbelief. The pack strategy is working. The Leviathan thrashed wildly, its massive body slamming into shelves and equipment. The freezing solution was slowing it down, making its movements jerky. The chemicals burned its sensitive skin, and the high-pitched sound confused its senses. But it wasn't beaten yet. "Watch out!" Neri shouted as one of the Leviathan's long tendrils shot out, crackling with electricity. It narrowly missed Dr. Lee, hitting a metal shelf instead. Sparks flew everywhere. "It's adapting," Dr. Hyun yelled, sounding both frightened and impressed. "It's learning from failure." The Leviathan rose up, shaking off the freezing solution. Its red eyes swept the room, more focused now. It was no longer chasing every movement. It was becoming strategic. "Get down from the platforms," Jinsu called to the others. "It's targeting our positions." They scrambled down as the Leviathan began systematically destroying their hiding spots. It was learning to hunt. "This wasn't supposed to happen," Neri said, crouching behind an overturned table with Jinsu. "It wasn't designed to adapt to failure. It was designed to succeed every time." "Everything adapts when it has to," Jinsu replied. "That's the most basic rule of survival." The three wolves regrouped near them. Haru looked at Jinsu as if waiting for a new plan. The other wolves, Duri and Tammy, stayed close to Haru. "We need a new approach," Dr. Lee said, joining them with Dr. Hyun. "Our first plan only worked temporarily." Jinsu looked around the damaged lab. His eyes fell on a large container in the corner marked with warning symbols. "What's in that?" he asked. "Biological samples from Earth's most extreme environments," Dr. Lee explained. "Bacteria from deep-sea vents, fungi from radioactive sites, extremophiles of all kinds." Jinsu's eyes widened. "The same kinds of organisms that affected the station's systems and the Leviathan's controls." Neri understood immediately. "You want to use Earth microbes against it directly. But how?" "Its skin is sealed against biological threats. It has to eat, right?" Jinsu asked. "It must have a mouth, a digestive system." Dr. Hyun nodded slowly. "Yes, but it would never eat something unless ordered to." Haru growled softly, drawing their attention. The wolf was looking at something across the room. A container with small animals used for feeding the Earth predators. "Bait," Jinsu said. "We need bait." The plan came together quickly. They would create bait infused with the extremophile microbes. But they needed the Leviathan to eat it. "It won't just take food from the floor," Dr. Hyun argued. "It's too smart for that." "Then we need to make it hungry," Jinsu said. "We need to make it hunt for real." Neri looked at the wolves. "Can they make it chase them long enough? Tire it out?" "Wolves can run for hours," Jinsu said. "They wear down prey through exhaustion. But we need to buy time to prepare the bait." Dr. Lee and Dr. Han got to work preparing the special bait, mixing the microbes with meat from the feeding containers. Jinsu and Neri worked out a route through the station for the wolves to lead the Leviathan. "There's one problem," Neri said. "How do we communicate the plan to the wolves?" Jinsu looked at Haru. The wolf's intelligent eyes seemed to understand something was happening. "Haru knows me." And the others follow Haru. The Leviathan was getting closer to their hiding spot. They had to move now. "Go," Jinsu said to Haru, pointing toward a side door. "Take them that way." To everyone's surprise, Haru seemed to understand. The wolf barked sharply at the other two, and all three moved toward the door. When they reached it, Haru barked loudly, drawing the Leviathan's attention. The massive creature spun around, its red eyes locking onto the wolves. With a roar, it charged. The wolves split up, running in different directions, but all heading out of the lab through different exits. Confused, the Leviathan stopped for a moment, then chose to follow Haru, the largest wolf. "It worked," Neri whispered. "But will your wolf survive?" "Haru's not trying to outrun it," Jinsu said, watching the wolf disappear with the Leviathan close behind. "He's outsmarting it. That's what natural predators do best." For the next hour, they heard the Leviathan's roars echoing through the station, sometimes close, sometimes far away. The wolves were leading it on a long chase, wearing it down. Dr. Lee and Dr. Hyun worked quickly to prepare the special bait. They mixed the most aggressive earth microbes with meat and wrapped it in a thin membrane that would dissolve in the Leviathan's stomach. "Will this really work?" Dr. Hyun asked, his former arrogance replaced by genuine curiosity. "Earth microbes have survived for billions of years by adapting to every possible environment," Dr. Lee explained. "They're not perfect, but they're incredibly resilient." Meanwhile, Jin-Soo and Neri set up the trap in the central laboratory, the largest room in this section of the station. They placed the bait in the center and prepared hiding places around the edges. "I need to understand something," Neri said as they worked. "How did you know the wolves would work together like this?" "They weren't trained." "They don't need training for this," Jin-Soo replied. "Wolves have hunted in packs for hundreds of thousands of years. It's in their nature. They understand instinctively what we have to learn, that sometimes the group is stronger than the individual." A howl echoed through the station. Then another answered from a different direction. "They're calling to each other," Jin-Soo said. "They're ready." Moments later, Haru appeared at one of the lab entrances. The wolf was panting but otherwise unhurt. He looked at Jin-Soo and barked once. "Good boy," Jin-Soo said. "Where's the Leviathan?" As if answering, a crash came from a corridor nearby. The Leviathan was close, but moving more slowly now. The long chase had tired it. "Hide," Jin-Soo whispered. Everyone took their positions behind equipment and overturned tables. The Leviathan burst into the lab, its movements sluggish. Parts of its armored skin were damaged. It was breathing heavily, something Neri had never seen before. "It's exhausted," she whispered in disbelief. "It was never designed to get tired." The Leviathan scanned the room, looking for the wolves. Its red eyes found Haru, who stood boldly in the open near the bait. The wolf wasn't running anymore. He was standing his ground. "What is he doing?" Dr. Lee whispered. "It will kill him." But Jin-Soo understood. "He's not afraid," he said softly. "He's hunting." The Leviathan charged forward, but much slower than before. Haru waited until the last moment, then jumped aside. The Leviathan's momentum carried it right over the bait. It stopped, confused, and sniffed the meat. From two other entrances, Duri and Taney appeared, growling. The Leviathan was surrounded. In its tired state, facing three threats at once confused its targeting systems. It roared in frustration and snapped up the bait, swallowing it whole. "It worked," Dr. Hyun said in amazement. The effect wasn't immediate. The Leviathan continued to stalk around the room, looking for the wolves. But after a few minutes, it began to slow down even more. Its movements became clumsy. Then it laid down on the floor, making strange sounds. "The microbes are attacking its biological systems from the inside," Dr. Lee explained. "Its perfect design didn't account for Earth's imperfect but highly adaptable life forms." Slowly, the Leviathan's red eyes dimmed. It wasn't dead, but it was no longer a threat. Rescue came 8 hours later. A Taeyang emergency team cut through the damaged sections of the station to reach them. They found the 4 survivors sitting together with 3 wolves, watching over the dormant Leviathan. 3 months later, Jin-Soo stood in a new laboratory on the rebuilt station. Beside him was Neri, watching as Taeyang and human scientists worked together. "We've changed our approach," Neri said. "Our new Leviathans combine our genetic engineering with elements of natural evolution. They can adapt, learn from failure, work in groups." In a large habitat connected to the lab, Haru played with what looked like a small version of the Leviathan they had faced. But this one had fur mixed with scales and eyes that were amber instead of red. "And we've learned that perfection isn't always the goal," Neri continued. "Sometimes, being good enough to adapt is better than being perfect for one purpose." Jin-Soo smiled as he watched Haru teaching the young hybrid creature how to hunt. "Her Leviathans were genetically perfect," he said. "But my wolf was just hungry. And sometimes, hunger, fear, the need to survive. These create solutions no designer could imagine." Neri nodded. 2 approaches working together. just like our species should. As if understanding, Haru looked up at them and howled. The sound echoed through the station, not a cry of hunger or fear, but of triumph.